Hi everyone, I'm Liz, a mental health and education professional, and today we're diving into what you should do if you think that you might have AuDHD. So AuDHD is when ADHD and autism come together. If you have AuDHD, you might feel a mix of relief that you're recognizing symptoms, maybe curiosity and maybe some anxiety. Don't worry, I'm here to help you navigate this. So at the end, I'll be giving a symptom guide away so that you can keep track of some of your symptoms, which will be really helpful. And I'm also going to be sharing some of my top tips for getting a diagnosis and actionable steps to prepare for that diagnosis. Hopefully it will help you gain some clarity, but also make it a bit smoother. So AuDHD is a unique blend of autistic traits and ADHD traits, and that combination can lead to some incredible strengths, as well as a few challenges. Identifying it can be a big relief, but also a bit confusing. So if you suspect that you have AuDHD, here's what we can do to take those first steps towards getting a diagnosis and finding some answers. I'm going to count down my top 7 things that you should do to prepare for an AuDHD diagnosis. Number 7 is to reflect on your experiences. So think back over your life and ask yourself, when did I first notice certain traits? You might realize you've always struggled with focus, that social situations were confusing, or that you were super sensitive, perhaps, to sounds, textures, or lights and other sensory issues. Write all of these experiences down. This self-reflection gives you a really clear picture of why you believe you might have AuDHD. Here, we're looking for patterns that may have been present in childhood or through big life changes. These experiences will be valuable information for your diagnosis. Number 6 is to research AuDHD traits. So knowing the signs and symptoms of both ADHD and autism and how they appear when they are together can really help you to connect those dots. It's common to hear about autistic masking, where people hide their autistic traits, or hyperfocus with ADHD. As you research, keep track of traits or behaviors that feel familiar to you and jot them down. You could use the symptom tracker that I've created if you look at the link down below. Understanding these traits gives you some clarity and be better prepared when speaking with a professional. Number 5 is to track your daily life. Start a journal, a voice memo, or even a digital log to track what's happening in your life. Try to capture things like moments when your focus drops or when social interactions feel challenging. Write down any sensory sensitivities like bright lights or loud noises if they throw you off your tasks or make you feel uncomfortable. Track these over a few weeks, and this gives you and your mental health professional a window into how these traits affect your day-to-day. So it's not just that they're happening, but how do they affect you? This record will show the impact of your symptoms, and it may highlight patterns that might not seem obvious at first. Tip number 4 is to get familiar with the diagnostic process in your country, in your area. Each country and healthcare system has its own process for diagnosing ADHD and autism. So take a look at what it involves in your area, whether it's a screening with a GP, a psychologist, or a psychiatrist, or whether it requires multiple appointments. Understanding this process will reduce any anxiety about what's coming next, and it will help you to be prepared if there are waiting lists, paperwork, or specific referral steps that need to be taken. Tip number 3 is to try to find a mental health professional who specializes in neurodiversity. So finding someone who really understands both ADHD and autism is essential. It really can help you. Look for professionals who have experience with neurodiverse clients. They'll recognize the small nuances of AuDHD much better. You can start by asking for referrals, looking at reviews, joining perhaps your local online neurodiversity groups to help you find professionals who are really going to understand you. Having the right support is crucial for an accurate diagnosis and making sure you feel seen and understood. Tip number 2 is don't give up if you don't get the right fit at first. Sometimes you can't choose a professional, and the first professional that you see might not be a perfect fit. That's okay. You might feel misunderstood, or the process doesn't seem to be going in the direction that you had hoped. If that happens, don't hesitate to seek a second opinion. Trust yourself and remember that you deserve the right kind of support. It might take a few tries. That's okay. Finding someone who truly understands AuDHD is worth the extra effort. And my final tip is to prepare for your first appointment. First appointments can feel overwhelming. especially when there's a lot to discuss. If you can bring a supportive person with you, that's really helpful. And bring a few things with you as well. Any notes you've taken on your traits and patterns, your symptom tracker or daily life log, any medical or mental health history that might be relevant. You also want to be ready to describe how certain traits impact your daily life. As I said, to make things easier, I've created a free symptom tracker, which you can download from the link below. It's specially for AuDHD. It's a great tool to help you organize your experiences and highlight important points that you want to discuss. I would also say if you're going to an appointment and you know that you need certain adaptations or requirements, make sure that you inform them before. You could ask for lights to be switched off. You can ask for soft lighting. You could wear noise cancelling earphones. Anything that's going to make you feel more relaxed and calm in that moment will be helpful. So don't be afraid to ask. So if you think you have AuDHD, don't stress. Taking these steps will give you a stronger foundation for seeking a diagnosis, reflecting on your life experiences, researching symptoms, and talking about your daily life, tracking this and understanding the diagnostic process. Finding that right professional and then staying persistent, preparing for your appointment will really help you navigate this journey. In the meantime, there are many things that you can do to support yourself while you're waiting for diagnosis. So please have a look at some of my other videos on how to manage and thrive with AuDHD and use your strengths. And remember, a diagnosis isn't about labeling yourself, it's about understanding yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today. If it was helpful, please remember to subscribe to support this small but growing channel.